What's up, everyone? Today I want to talk about Path of Exile 2, Dawn of the Hunt's Endgame. So I've been at Endgame now for a couple of days, and I'm really surprised. I'm really surprised how different the Endgame feels now compared to one initial release, a few months ago. Now, Dawn of the Hunt has received quite a bit of criticism. There's a lot of people complaining and sharing their feelings around this patch, and it's mostly around the campaign and the leveling and the progression and kind of the balancing and how some things just don't feel like they're scaled right. And I share some of those thoughts. The campaign was a slog to get through. I played two characters, and I played one before the nerfs and one, after all of the monster nerfs and the buffs that we got and stuff. And it did feel a little bit better after they made all these patches, but it still feels too long. It still feels like a real chore to get through those 6 acts. However, I don't think enough people are talking about how good the endgame has got. And I think we need to give credit where credit is due. The endgame has got significantly better. And this is mostly came in one big patch. They did the Dawn of the Hunt and they added loads of new content and they reworked some stuff. But they've also done lots of little patches since. They just keep patching these little things in that just make it better and better and better. They've been really responsive to feedback, and it's just getting better every day. And they just released even more information of stuff coming next week that is huge. They're going to release a patch in next week that lets us respec our ascendancies, which is something people have been asking for since the launch of the game. So let's go over everything, and hopefully, we can add a little bit of positivity into an otherwise fairly negative launch. So one thing that's massively increased my enjoyment of these maps, the endgame, is it came in a small quality of life patch a couple of days ago. So if you go into a random map, if you just load into a random map, when you get there, before you would have to go around the whole map, and some of these maps are massive, and you'd have to go around this whole map, and I'd run around the outskirts to try and find these rares. And then if you don't find any, you go into the middle, and then you clear all of the middle looking for these rares. And then maybe you missed one in a little corner in the top left. That's over with. It's done. So now, when you load in, you can see in the top right, you have all of these skulls on your map. That is where the rares are. So you just load into the map, you come out, and you just defeat the rares. The maps now, it's a small change, but they are significantly faster. And you spend more time just going and hunting the rares, going and doing the actual tasks of the map, and then you can just leave and go to the next one. So there's a lot of downtime taken out, which for me, it's made me just run these back to back for hours and have a lot more fun. So yeah, I wanted to mention that one first because it's a small change, but it's probably what made me enjoy the endgame the most so far. But next, let's talk about something that I think a lot of people had an issue with, and I think it was a big problem, and that is there was a wall. When you got to the endgame for the first time, you finish crawl mode and you get to endgame, there was this barrier. So your build wasn't finished. You were probably following a leveling guide that doesn't scale well at endgame. You probably was in blue gear, or you had some level 20 gloves that you picked up in Act 2. You just haven't found an upgrade, right? And then you get to endgame, you put your first keystone in, you load into a map, you go to a breach, and you get one shot. And you lose the keystone, you lose the event, you're back in your hideout, and you just turn the game off. And I think a lot of people that happened to. They've improved it massively with this. So now, when you put a waystone in, you get six portals. So you get 6 portals on your waystones, and then as you add more modifiers to them, so as you add increased rarity, more rares, as you start adding all these different modifiers to the waystone, you will lose the portals. So you will have less and less. So it's like a risk reward. If you want to run a low risk keystone that has no modifiers in, you'll get these 6 portals. If you then want to start putting all the modifiers on to make it really juicy and make it much better, you have less portals, so it's a bit more risky. And that is huge for this reason. When you do these, if you're going into these and you do a ritual, right? You go into a ritual and you spawn all the mobs and they just rush you and one-shot you, and you revive, the progress of that ritual stays. You can then ride back to the ritual, run back to the ritual, go in, and continue from where you left off. And if it takes you 3 revives to finish it, you can still finish it. Same with an expedition or whatever you're doing. If you fail, you can just go back and have another go. Okay, next I want to talk about the tower change. I'll go over this quickly because you might have already seen it when they did their reveal. But basically, there's 1/3 as many towers as before. On top of this, the amount the tower influences has gone up. So if we go into, if we look at some precursor tablets, this one here, 18 maps in range will have ritual altars. 15 maps in range, ritual altars. 17 will have an expedition. 15 in range will have a Mirrors of Delirium. And what that means is if you just do a couple of towers, everything around it will have so many more events. And the best thing is, when you run these towers now, you can add multiple precursors. So based on how many modifiers the Waystone has when you run it, you will have more slots at the bottom, up to 3 slots. So you could go in here and put 3 precursor tabs in that give like 15 mirrors, 15 rituals, 15 breaches, or more of the same. And it will just fill everything around you with so much content. Like look up here, you've got like 2-in-1, 2-in-1, 3-in-1, 3-in-1, 3-in-1. And look how many affixes they have. Like look how many like things they have on them. So it's less time doing like the busy work of oh, I've got to go and head to that tower, and then I've got to head to like those 3 towers and activate all of those. And it's more time just running fun maps. You just, oh, this is a fun map, and then, oh, this is a fun map, and then this will be a fun map. And then before you know it, you're at another tower and you set up another 15 maps. So yeah, it's really, really a good change. And then I think the thing that brings this all together, the reason this goes from feeling like, you know, more of what we had last time, but a bit more, is we have a lot more, not just like the big events, like the rituals, the breaches, the expeditions, but smaller events within these maps that keep them interested. So before, you know, we had strong boxes, which sucked. Strong boxes were just click this, beat a bunch of monsters, and get a blue item. That's all they did. Strong boxes were pretty much terrible. Now we have these things like unique strong boxes. So you can find these unique strong boxes, and they happen quite a lot. There's like a scarab where if you click it, it'll start running away. And if you beat it, it drops like 5 gems, like jewels, like, you know, like sapphires and emeralds and stuff, which is awesome. You know, we all need to chase these jewels. There's one that's like a mystery box where it asks for a certain amount of gold, and then it spins a thing and it can give you a random item. Some people are getting like tier 20 skill gems, or, you know, huge amounts of materials from these, or you could end up with like a scroll. It could give you nothing. So it's just really interesting. There's like unique ones that drop uniques and stuff, so that's more fun. We have the wisps now, which where it's like these orbs that just float around, and they will it's a new thing in Dawn of the Hunt. They'll go into the mob, they'll make the mob stronger. They don't seem that good personally. I'm not that excited about them, but it's an extra thing in the map that you'll run across, which is great. The rogue exiles are fantastic. I love the rogue exiles. You know, they look like these like almost like real players, and then you beat them and they drop like their entire gear set. So they'll drop like chest, legs, rings, staff, like they drop everything, which is just really, really cool. And if you grab it, sometimes it might be like they might have put like sockets in their gear and stuff. So it feels really fun to find those in the world. So yeah, just overall, the maps just feel full. They don't feel like you're just running in an empty, barren zone looking for elites. They just feel like there's always something happening. And I think that for me, just to sum it all up, has made Endgame just feel incredible so far. I finish a map, I instantly just dump my inventory straight into the next one. And then I look and I've been on for like 4 hours. It just, the taking away all the tedious parts and letting us just have fun has been amazing. It's a massive contrast from the campaign, which feels the exact opposite. The campaign feels like it's slower and longer, and you're just like trudging around for hours or days, whereas the end game just feels like fast fun and instant satisfaction now. So yeah, I just wanted to share it because it's I think a lot of people are going to see the campaign and stop playing, and I hope you make it to endgame and see how much better it's got. But yeah, I just wanted to share a good experience, share some positive experiences of the endgame, because I think it's in a really good place, or at least a much better place than it was. Obviously, yeah, I got to keep saying it. This is early access. It's only going to get better. There was a recent interview with the guys over there and Ziz, and he brought up a lot of pretty hard hitting questions. He brought some big feedback about some of the problems, and they were not only were they happy to talk about it. It wasn't some like, you know, interview where they were just trying to promote the good stuff. He was asking them hard questions, and they were happy to talk in detail about everything. Not only that, the stuff that they agreed, you know, okay, this is bad, they patched it the next day. They patched a lot of things the next day, and more is coming. So they, you know, they've been back and forward with changing ascendancies, and loads of people want to change ascendancies. You know, you pick the wrong one. You know, you pick a certain ascendancy that you either don't like, or they change, they buff or nerf something, and you want to switch over. You would have to level a whole other character. They've said, you know, we can see it. We finally will let you do it. You know, we've put the things in place to allow you to do it now, and that's coming next week. So I think the game is moving in a very good direction, and I'm not saying, oh, go play now, because it's only going to get better. I just wanted to give an update on where it is right now, and, you know, if you think it looks different enough, give it a try. Get to endgame, have fun. But that's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this style of video, do consider subscribing. Lots of PoE builds and guides on the way. I've been working on a fully mounted build as well, just you never get off the rower, and that's been really, really fun. Full build for that's going to be out in a couple of days if you want to see it. Also been streaming everything. Just did the third ascendancy fully mounted, which was pretty interesting. So if you want to come hang out over there, that'll be linked as well. But thank you so much for watching. Take care. Curious how you're feeling. Let me know in the comments how you're feeling. Did you make it through the campaign? How are you finding Endgame? Let me know. That's it from me. Thank you for watching. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next one.